Pursuant to Section 84-1411 of the Nebraska statutes, the next regular meeting of the Board of Education of Douglas County School District 0001 and the Board of Education Service Unit 19 will be held Monday, May 1st, 2023 at 6 p.m. in the Board Meeting Room of the Teacher Administrative Center, 3215 Cumming Street. The agenda will be kept current and available for public inspection at the Office of the Secretary of the Board of Education at the administrative building during regular working hours. Pursuant to Section 84-1412 of the Nebraska statutes, the public is hereby informed that a current copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is published in the board meeting room on the north wall. Please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Vice President Smith, can you please lead us in the OPS vision and mission?
The vision, every student, every day, prepared for success. And the mission, to prepare all students for success in college, career, and life.
Mr. Ray, roll call, please.
Cassidy.
Here.
Erdenberger. Full.
Here.
Head.
Present.
Holman.
Present.
Juarez.
Here.
Cracky. Smith.
Here.
Thielen.
Here.
8 present.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve Ms. Cracky's absence?
So moved.
We have a motion by Dr. Holman, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Smith. Any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Ray, please call the roll.
Holman.
Aye.
Juarez. Smith.
Aye.
Thielen.
Point of order. Have we heard from Ms. Cracky?
I have not. I saw her this morning at the NASB event. I know she was planning on being here. There's a wreck on the interstate, so I would imagine she's just running a little bit late, trapped in traffic. But
Thank you. No.
Cassidy.
Aye.
Erdenberger. Full.
No.
Head.
aye.
5 ayes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next, school spotlight with Mr. Maskell.
Good evening, President Head, Vice President Smith, members of the board, and Superintendent Logan. Tonight's OPS Proud Spotlight features multiple state wrestling champions from the Omaha Public Schools. Proud to welcome DJ Bonham from Central High, Tyler Stewart from North High, and Tyson Terry from North High, who will all come to the podium and share a few brief remarks. Gentlemen?
Hello, my name is DJ Bonham. Do you want me to talk first and then? Okay. This year was my last year as an Eagle, and it was my best year. I went out this year as a state champ in 2023. My goal was to be a 4-time state champ. I had some injuries throughout my career, so it didn't make it as easy as it could be. But the past summer, I had surgery. I healed up my body, and I won state this year. Thank you.
My name's Tyler Stewart. This was also my last year at Omaha North. I won my third state title this year. It was good to be a part of the team. I think we finished 8th as a team, considering when I started at North, I think we were in the bottom 2 or 3 in the state, so that felt pretty good. And just to go out on top as a 3-time state champ felt pretty good. And I'm a senior.
My name is Tyson Terry. I won my second state title this year in the heavyweight division. It was a pretty fun year, kind of just going out there and having fun. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you all for being here. Congratulations on your achievements. If you wouldn't mind coming up to the podium, I think we'll have some board questions for you. So, Ms. Zerdenberger. Anyone else? Dr. Holman?
If you all wouldn't mind coming up and tell us what your for the seniors, what your plans are after graduating high school, if you know what they are.
After high school, I plan to continue on with my photography business and go to Iowa Western and eventually start a media page and have an LLC under my name.
After high school, I'm going to Southeast Community College to continue to wrestle and study business.
Mr. Bonham, no career in law enforcement for you? I'm going to ask you again later.
So I want to ask all three of you, and Mr. Bonham, I know you'd mentioned it a little bit, getting injured early on, fighting through it, overcoming adversity, coming back, winning a state title as a senior. So what has being involved in wrestling meant to you as an OPS student throughout your high school academic career, and how has it helped you grow?
I think wrestling and all just helped me grow as a person, especially when I have good coaches like Gates, Storm, Wells, and a lot of other people that are in the room, like my teammates that are helping me out. Wrestling really helped me face adversity through just life in general and be able to be a stand-up guy and a stand-up person.
Wrestling's meant a lot to me. I've done it for a long time. I think it just taught me mental toughness and like getting through stuff. And like wrestling's hard. Like none of the workouts are easy. You have to do a lot of running, conditioning, stuff like that. So I think it just teaches you that it can be done, and your mind, if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish whatever it may be.
Yeah, I've been. They kind of hit on all the key points there, but yeah, wrestling. I've been doing it since I was a little toddler, but it's definitely helped me a lot just with life of just not giving up and not taking the easy way out. Those are kind of just the main things that wrestling has helped me.
Awesome, thank you. And I know you have 2 more years left. Do either of you plan on wrestling at the collegiate level? Maybe? Thinking about it?
Yeah, I plan on. Yeah, I'm wrestling at the college level next year. I think I already went over that, didn't I?
Dr. Holman?
Could we have the coaches to come up and introduce themselves, please?
My name's Dan Carlson. I've been the head coach at Omaha North for 5 years now. It's actually been kind of awesome to watch these two compete, and this guy. We're a pretty close-knit group at OPS and in the Metro, and it's been quite a experience for me to be around guys like this that really don't take much coaching. Just kind of get them in shape and watch them compete, and then watching them, get ready for these events is something kind of special because it's kind of a once-in-a-lifetime thing for a coach as well.
My name is Zach Gates, assistant coach over at Central, and kind of reiterating a little bit, I mean, when you have guys that are as good as, all 3 of the guys that are up here, I mean, it's fun to watch them go out and wrestle and just compete. And, in the practice room, they put in a lot of unseen effort that I think maybe, could be attributed, or obviously is attributed to the success that they see not only in wrestling, but continuing on in college or, working in life and things like that. So it's just been a fun experience to see not only DJ win a state championship, but also Tyler and Tyson both as well.
Awesome, thank you. Any other questions? All right, seeing none, congratulations again, guys. Please come around and give us all high fives, handshakes, fist bumps, and we've got some pins for you. All right, moving on to board and superintendent communications. Dr. Logan?
Good evening, President Head, Vice President Smith, members of the board, those here in attendance, and those watching the stream from home. Beginning brief remarks this evening, we invite our students and families to learn more about the Omaha Virtual School. OVS welcomes students from kindergarten through 12th grade through blended learning. Students and families work independently with the benefits of curriculum and cooperative learning. OVS is hosting an online informational session tomorrow, Tuesday, April 18th at 11:15 a.m. For the virtual meeting link, visit ops.org and look under announcements. There will be another in-person informational session on May 2nd, and applications are all due on the 5th of May. This evening, first, pending approval this evening, our board has selected Dr. Ann McFarland as Interim Board of Education Secretary. Dr. McFarland has served in OPS in schools and school and community services for more than 2 decades. The second appointment for your consideration is Suzanne Kramer as Interim Chief of School Improvement. Ms. Kramer has led school improvement efforts with her Accountability Division colleagues since joining us in 2021. Ms. Kramer steps into the role which Mr. Ray has held in addition to his Deputy Superintendent responsibilities through the 2022-2023 school year. We congratulate Dr. McFarland and Ms. Kramer. Finally, additional congratulations are in order for Burke High School student Charles McGovern for creating the winning design for the RV-12 airplane built by Aviation Nation. That is really remarkable. Jane McGill, who's here in attendance, of Central High School, for receiving the 2023 Student Journalist Impact Award from the Journalism Education Association. And Bryan High School Principal Ronnie Ortega for being named the 2023 Nebraska Cultural Unity Conference Educator of the Year from the University of Nebraska at Kearney. In addition to the congratulations, we always welcome, we like to welcome our students who are here. We have students here from Westview, the Westview Wolverines, who are here. So we're excited to hear your presentation in a little bit. And then we have our friends from Marion High School doing their school assignment, as usual. It's good to see you, you ladies, and I promised them it would not be a long meeting, so let's not disappoint people. Thank you so much. That concludes my remarks for the evening.
Thank you, Dr. Logan. Moving on to board comment. Ms. Full.
Thank you. I just wanted to say a big thank you to the Lazier Foundation for inviting me to be a panelist and a breakout session leader for their Youth DEI Summit. And there were over 60 students there from all over Omaha, lots and lots of OPS kids. They were so engaged. They asked amazing questions, and it was a great experience for them to learn more about holistic community development and the work that I do in the community trying to create change and what they can do to create change themselves. So thank you so much, and that's really it. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Cassidy.
Thank you, President Head. I just wanted to highlight an event that I went to yesterday. It was so, and Dr. Logan was there as well, so she can attest. Wasn't it a nice ceremony? So we both attended and I brought my program so I won't mess up what everything stands for here. Hispanic Academic Challengers of Excellence, otherwise known as HACE. This was hosted it was at Bryan High School, but it basically recognizes all of our Latino leaders across our Omaha Public School District. These students have to have a 3.0 or higher GPA. So they were recognized yesterday at the ceremony. And if you can see this names on my program here, there's so many. I don't even know how many there are, but I want to quickly highlight all of the schools that had 2023 honorees. We had students from the Accelerate program, Benson High School, Bryan High School, Burke High School, Central High School, North High School, Northwest High School, South High School, UNO Middle College program, and Omaha Virtual School. So I didn't want to leave anyone off. I thought I'd better bring my program. It was a really nice event, though, honoring these students. It was really, really a celebration of their success academically, and families were recognized. Even parents got a lovely certificate thanking them. I was with my daughter, so I felt so like I couldn't believe I got a certificate, which was kind of nice for a change. So just a really nice event put on. I want to thank the Latino Center of the Midlands. They're our community partner that also is in conjunction with this event. So great, great event, and congratulations to all the students that were honored. Well done. That's it.
Thank you. Do we have any other board members? Mr. Thielen?
Thank you, Mr. Head. I just, for my fellow board members, I'm no longer on the Accountability Committee. I understand that Dr. Holman has agreed to step in to my place. I hope that, given your experience on the, doing many searches and on the board, I hope that you can really help that committee and contribute. So I appreciate you stepping in. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thielen. Ms. Zerdenberger?
Just a couple of things. One is item 121 on the consent agenda is approval of a memorandum of understanding with our Omaha Education Association. And following Dr. Logan's leadership with respect to paying student teachers, and in this case, paying the cooperating teachers that have student teachers, this particular item will provide for paying the cooperative teachers through July of 2026. So I'm just glad that we can be a part of that. The other thing is I wanted to inform my fellow board members that as recently as this afternoon, I'm very well aware that the job of us as board members is to set policy, approve budget, and to hire and evaluate the superintendent. And we are, of course, in the middle of one of those most important undertakings, which is to select our next superintendent. And I think it's really important that every person that's on that committee have an opportunity to be heard and to feel that like their voice is valued. Unfortunately, I do not fall in that category, and so I have advised Mr. Head as of this afternoon that I too have resigned from the Accountability Committee, and it is with great reluctance and regret that I do that because I was very excited about doing that important work, and I'm not sure who my replacement will be, but I wish them the best, and I hope they enjoy working on that committee.
Thank you, Ms. Zerdenberger. Anyone else? Ms. Juarez?
Thank you. I just wanted to mention that Spencer and Jane and I went to Bryan Middle School for the Choral Palooza. That was a singing celebration, which of course was sensational. We really enjoyed it. And the schools that participated were Bryan High School, Bryan Middle, 7th and 8th, Buena Vista, Chandler View, Forest Station, Gateway, Gilder, Highland, and Pawnee. So all of the schools participated in that event, and I just wanted to mention how much we enjoyed it and appreciated their time and their interest in singing for us. Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, seeing none, I'd echo Ms. Juarez's comments. The Choir Palooza last week was amazing. Definitely had fun at the event, listening to the students sing, show off their talents and abilities, and so good job to all of them. Oh, do you want to do that one? All right, and I forgot Mr. Smith, thank you for reminding me. Last week, what was it? Thursday? Last Thursday morning at Kellum Elementary, HDR partnered with an organization called All Kids Bike to give 24 bikes to the elementary school students so that they can learn how to ride a bike. Mr. Smith and myself obviously had the ability to be there and represent the board, so that was an awesome event to get to see the kids' faces as they unveiled the bikes. So congratulations to those students, and thank you to All Kids Bike and HDR for their generous donations to the district. With that, we will go ahead and move on to public comment and recognition. So the next item on the agenda is public comment. Tonight we have 2 speakers who have submitted requests to be heard forms. The board has adopted policy 8346, which provides public comment for a period of 1 hour. The same policy limits individual speakers to a maximum of 5 minutes. We ask that you respect that time limit. Mr. Ray will let you know when you have 1 minute remaining and when you have 30 seconds remaining. If you are in need of an interpreter, please let Mr. Ray know and one will be provided for you. We understand that people have strong feelings about the issues they come to speak about. We ask that you respect the opinions of all who speak and refrain from applause or other outbursts during presentations. If the subject of your public comment is related to a particular student or staff member, we ask that you not identify the student or staff member and instead provide that specific information to Mr. Ray. He will assist us in looking into those types of specifics for you. If you do not get an opportunity to speak and would like to submit any written commentary, please provide it to Mr. Ray. He will make sure each board member gets a copy. As a reminder, with last year's passage of LB 83 by the Nebraska Legislature, the Board of Education is legally obligated to require any member of the public desiring to address the board to identify himself or herself and the organization they're representing before speaking. In addition, we ask that you remain seated until called to the podium. Please remain at the podium and do not approach the board table. If you have any materials to distribute, please let Mr. Ray know and he will come get those from you. It is now 6:24 p.m. and our first speaker is Jeffrey Williams.
Good evening, Board, Mr. Matthew Ray, Dr. Logan. It is said to give exceptional people their flowers while they are in your presence. Your historic service, Dr. Logan, to the Omaha Public Schools as our first African-American superintendent will not be forgotten. As of today, 4 years, 9 months, 15 days, a total of 1,750 days, 42,000 hours. I personally have appreciated how you have embodied such personal values of forthrightness, humility, kindness, and a sense of urgency and a tireless work ethic. Your leadership compass of taking the high road, involving others, being kind, true, and firm, creating simplicity and cherishing commitment was evident during your tenure. I have appreciated the support that you have given, not just to organizations and projects that I have personally been a part of during your term, but more importantly, the scope, vision, and hope that you gave to so many young people. A quote from Condoleezza Rice: "Education is transformational. It changes lives. That is why people work so hard to become educated and why education has always been the key to the American dream. The force that erases arbitrary divisions of race and class and culture and unlocks every person's God-given potential." Dr. Logan, as you embark on your next destination in life, please know that you have made a profound difference and had a huge impact on the city of Omaha. Congratulations on receiving the 2022 Harold W. McGraw Jr. Prize in Education. The Lord is not done with you yet. Again, thank you for all that you've done. You have represented us so astutely with honor, courage, and integrity. And I forgot to mention Jeffrey Williams, Jeffrey Williams. Address, P.O. Box 3681, Omaha, Nebraska 68103, President of Jay's Brain Trust Consulting Services Incorporated. Thank you, Dr. Logan.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. All right, and our next speaker is Rebecca Pilapaitis. Apologize if I butchered your last name there.
Hello, board. Hello, Dr. Cheryl Logan. I have some invitations, Mr. Ray. Sorry to put you to work, Mr. Ray. My name is Rebecca Pilapaitis, REBECKAHPILYPAITIS, Pilapaitis. You got it right. Address 9056 Valley Street, Omaha, Nebraska. I am an art teacher with OPS. This is my 12th year teaching at Bryan High School. And this is our 6th year of our Art for Conservation show. And I thought tonight would be a great time to come and introduce myself and what our students have been doing over the last 6 years. So we have partnered up with the Henry Dorley Zoo and have been making art for the last 6 years. Every year we sell it, usually the Saturday of Earth Day. So over the last 5 years, we've raised $10,000 with the art that the students and some of the staff have been making. And the students get to choose global and local conservation organizations to distribute those funds. So over the last 5 years, students have been choosing Okapi Conservation Project, No Fins Attached. There's like 5 or 10 different organizations that we've been donating to. So it's a great example of how Portrait of a Graduate really does work, even with like art and bringing science and infusing it both together to make an impact on the globe. So you are all welcome to come and check it out. It's at the zoo, at the Harper Event Center down by the Stingrays. And it goes from 10 a.m. to about 4 p.m. and we'll have t-shirts, canvas bags, and a whole bunch of other art that our students have been very excited to share with our community. And everyone here as well is invited to come. It's for the whole community. So thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Pilipaitis. We appreciate it. All right, the next item on the agenda is the consent calendar. So at this time, any board member may request that an item on the consent agenda may be removed from the consent agenda and considered and voted on separately. Do we have any such motions? Seeing none, we'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mr. Smith, second by Dr. Holman. Do we have any abstentions? Ms. Cassidy?
Yes, I am abstaining from item I-11 for Claim C for my role with the Omaha Public Schools Foundation. And my colleague?
And I would also be abstaining from the same item I-11 Claim C from my work with the Bilingual Leadership Program.
Thank you. Do we have any further abstentions? Seeing none, Mr. Ray, please call the roll.
Juarez.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Thielen.
Aye.
Cassidy.
Aye.
Erdenberger.
Aye.
Full.
Aye.
Head.
Aye.
Holman.
Aye.
8 aye.
All right, the motion carries. Moving on to information items. We have item J1A, the College and Career Academies and Pathways update for Westview High School. Our speaker is Mrs. Susan Christofferson and friends.
Lots of friends.
I don't know. I've heard some. No joke. I got good friends.
Thank you. Good evening. President Head, Vice President Smith, Superintendent Dr. Logan, Board of Education and Community. Tonight we have the opportunity to learn from Westview High School. They will be sharing an update on the quality of work and experiences supporting our college and career academies and pathways. It is with great pleasure to introduce Mr. Tom Lee, Principal, Westview High School, who will begin the presentation and introduce the Westview team that's here tonight.
Thank you. Yeah.
Good evening, Board President Head, Vice President Smith, Superintendent Logan, members of the Board of Education and Community. I am Thomas Lee, the proud principal of Westview High School, and we are here this evening to share about student voice, student leadership, and our Student Ambassadors Program. We are proud to share data this evening that shows the importance of school-wide student involvement and the impact that it has on student success. The number of students involved in school activities is outstanding. To date, we have 381 students involved in athletics, 279 involved in activities, arts, clubs. So out of the 740 students, 660 are actively involved. We continue to pursue our goal that all students are involved in athletics, activities, and fine arts. We're about developing the whole student and about being involved, advocating through voice, and being positive representatives. This is the core of what we want from our students. The Westview model is learn, lead, and succeed. These three core areas, along with student voice, leadership, and involvement, are what drive academic achievement. Our goal is that all of our students are involved to support academic growth and success. The success includes opportunities through our pathways where our partners are providing great opportunities for our students to be involved in the community. We want our students' voices to be heard this evening throughout our presentation. We are excited about our students who are here with us this evening, and we value their voice in school. Our students' voices are important as they are setting the culture and climate of Westview. They selected the school name, school colors, named the school mascot. They've written the lyrics for their school song, and they currently are writing the mission and vision statements, and they also chose the names of their freshman academy teams. They are taking pride in ownership of their school. They're giving tours, serving as NCs, serving on committees, supporting community events. We value their voice, their leadership, and their involvement. They are great ambassadors for Westview. I now take the opportunity to turn this part of the presentation over to Rachel Arns to speak more about the data that was mentioned and also about Westview College career academies and pathways.
At Westview, we believe involved students are engaged students. Engaged students lead to academically thriving students. We provide numerous opportunities for our students to find their place, to fine-tune their strengths and interests, develop their voice and leadership skills, and feel like they belong and enjoy school. With a small but mighty staff, almost all our staff members coach or sponsor a school activity, which means that our students have opportunities to work with teachers and gain support and mentorship beyond their classroom walls. But it's not just our staff who are involved at Westview. Our students are just as passionate and involved. We are proud to say that over 90% of our students are involved outside the classroom. For example, 436 students challenged themselves in honors and AP courses, and we have 100% AP exam participation. Additionally, we have 195 students participating in the fine arts. Some of our highlights include receiving an award for Best Troop Display at the Nebraska Thespian Festival and receiving superior ratings in the Band Olympics. Our robotics, Ed Rising, and dance teams qualified for nationals, and our library has one of the highest book checkouts within the district. Our active JROTC held 33 formal and informal events held in the community, and we have 166 students in other clubs and activities. Additionally, over half of our students are involved in athletics, with most of these students attending various athletic leadership camps throughout the year. In fact, Westview is rated third in the state with having the most multi-sport athletes. At Westview, we are also very proud of our pathways and feel that we are providing ample opportunities for our students to achieve in their classes and prepare for their future careers. We begin our pathway support at the earliest freshman level and ensure that every freshman student participates in Freshman Academy. Throughout that year, they learn about and select one of the 11 pathways offered. Our pathway themes include business, education, health science, and sustainability. The pathways unique to Westview include clean energy research and development, civil and community engineering, and the biomechanics and research pathways. As students progress throughout their pathways, they receive opportunities to attend field experiences and career fairs, earn certifications, participate in service learning and project-based learning, network with industry professionals, earn scholarships, and gain shadowing and internship opportunities that provide unique learning experiences that prepare them for college and their future careers. Even though we have only had 1 year with our pathways, we have started the year off incredibly strong and are already making waves within our community. We have invited over 93 speakers into our buildings to enrich curriculum, engage students in hands-on activities, offer advice through expert panels, and through structured career exploration days. Our students have also embarked on over 32 different field experiences, including a civil engineering trip to Standing Bear Lake to learn from FIRA Engineering, the City of Omaha, and the Nebraska Game and Parks about their designing dams and inshore habitat restoration, an environmental science migratory bird surveying project with Olson Engineering, and our business pathway students pitching their entrepreneurship ideas to the diverse business departments within FNBO. We have over 49 community partners collaborating with our teachers and students, and have many more partners waiting to collaborate with our junior and senior class teachers for the upcoming years. We have also held high-impact events throughout the year to engage students in career exploration and to gain experience within their pathways. We held an Introduce a Girl to Engineering Day and invited 6 engineering professionals to Westview to provide fun engineering activities and games and offer mentorship and support to our female students in our pathways relating to engineering. OPPD also hosted a Careers in Energy Day and engaged over 125 students in hands-on activities related to energy and future career opportunities. Students in our health pathways also helped plan and host an upcoming Arbor Day 5K, 10K race around Lake Flanagan. They will lead stretching sessions with Macavicka Physical Therapy, offer hydration to runners, and work with the University of Nebraska Omaha Biomechanics to collect activity data on willing participants. This Arbor Day celebration is getting our sustainability pathway students excited to design and plant an arboretum on Westview's campus, which will make us one of the few schools in the entire nation with a certified arboretum on site. We also hosted a Choose Your Pathway Fair for our freshman students and invited over 26 businesses to Westview to showcase the varying jobs available related to their pathways. Over 430 freshmen benefited from this event, and we are closing these last couple months by hosting a freshman pathway pinning induction to celebrate and honor their selections, and are offering field experiences to every freshman to explore a Nebraska business within their pathway. So let's hear about the experiences from one of our amazing pathway leaders right now. I'd like to introduce you to Allison Walden.
Good evening, my name is Allison Walden, and I am a part of the Civil Design Engineering pathway. Today I'm here to talk about some of the opportunities Westview has given me and many other students. There are so many fun and exciting opportunities that I could talk about, but let's stick to 2 of my favorites. Right before we went on to winter break, I was invited to a meeting full of engineers wanting to invest time and possibly money into our pathway. It was a make or break deal. I was the only female student invited to speak and represent our class. This meeting gave me the opportunity to work on my speaking skills, express my feelings, and use my voice. Later in the year, I was able to attend an amazing and an exciting event. This event was called Introduce a Girl into Engineering Day. During this event, girls from middle schools and high schools all over Omaha came to Westview. This event was so special to not just me, but to all of the girls because we were able to support each other and feel comfortable about the pathway we chose. We were finally able to have a support system. So many amazing and independent girls and women came out that day to make it special for everyone in the room. Over the past year, I have been learning about who I am and what I want to be. This class has given me countless opportunities to do so. I realized I took a liking into interior design and architecture. I want to inspire females all around the world to go out and achieve their dreams. I want them to know that you decide your fate and your future, no one else. I have been given so many opportunities that I was able and glad to share with you all today. Thank you for listening. I am now pleased to introduce our curriculum specialist, Jennifer Gorn, who will speak about our student ambassadors.
With a young population in our first year, our ambassadors are all sophomores who are really setting the stage for what the future ambassadors will be. In 2 words, they are active and leaders. As a brand new building, we get frequent requests to tour our building or shadow a student, and every ambassador is eager to provide that personalized experience. These students ran tours at open house consisting of anywhere from 15 to 60 people, nearly double most class sizes that our students are used to working with. And they did it with poise and expertise. Our students also represented well at the district high school showcase by jumping right in and leading conversations when they only anticipated chiming in as they needed to. Not only did they do a great job representing and showcasing our school for prospective parties, but they also show great leadership to our freshmen and during pathway events that involve current students. You have already heard of some of those events like the Careers in Energy Day and the Choose Your Pathway Fair, where our ambassadors helped with setup, tear down, direction, and overall support. One other thing that was huge as a young group was leading a sophomore panel on the freshman first day. They were there to ensure that our students were comfortable and prepared to begin their journey in high school. We would love if you would hear from one of our current ambassadors about his experience and some other initiatives. This is Tomas Thielen.
Being a student ambassador for Westview has given me the opportunity to represent the school in a positive way. Myself, along with the other students chosen for the position, have worked hard as a team to set a school culture where the principles of respect, responsibility, honesty, and hard work are present. As a graduating class, it's important that we set the standard so the classes behind us know what a quality student looks like. Our student ambassador team has assisted in school events such as Trunk or Treat, where we interacted with the community by passing out candy. We have also participated in out-of-school events such as the OPS High School Showcase at UNO, where we joined all the OPS high schools in sharing what our school has to offer and answering questions from parents who are curious about the school. The position of student ambassador provides me with an important role in the development of Westview. Additionally, it has improved my qualities of leadership, dependability, and responsibility, which will benefit me in the future. Now, I'd like to introduce our assistant principal, Mrs. Pham, to share about student leadership at Westview.
We are here to share about student leadership at Westview. We are here to share about student leadership at Westview, how we develop leadership potential, and what it means for students, and how it looks at our school. One key foundation for leadership development was our summer sophomore leadership camp. Students signed up and volunteered their time to come together and explore leadership in many ways. The main skills that they learned were how to work in teams and effectively communicate. They took a quiz to learn about their leadership style and personality and how to work in diverse teams that complemented each other's strengths. They also identified the areas where they could serve as leaders, met with sponsors, and signed up for activities during camp. Members of the Principal's Advisory Committee helped to work on the mission and vision of the school. The committee is essential for student voice and leadership at Westview. Members of the Black Student Leadership Council organized, planned, and prepared the winter formal. This dance was a great success, and their ability to work collaboratively as a team made a big impact on the event. This was truly their event. The cheer team and trophy-winning dance team provided many highlights for our schools to take pride in and by serving the community through various service-related activities. Our students are also serving as academic leaders. The Wolverine Athletic Program led the way at the UNO problem-solving contest with students securing first and third place medal. We have had 2 state qualifiers for Chemistry Olympiad and had 2 students receive top honors for the Capital City DECA competition. We have journalism students recognized for their work at Journalism Education Association National Convention and the UNO High School Media Awards, and 2 students placed 3rd in academic decathlon regional competition. This is quite impressive as freshmen and sophomores do not normally participate in regionals. These are just a few examples of how leadership has been fostered at Westview and have created a positive and active school culture. Hope you enjoyed this description of student leadership development as Westview and that you recognize the intentionality of our staff and students to foster leadership in our new school. Now I'm going to turn it over to Landon, who will speak on to his leadership involvement as the first graduating class of Westview.
Hello board, my name is Landon Creighton. I'm a sophomore at Westview High School. I'll be talking about my leadership experiences at Westview. Being a Westview student, I get to be a leader in my school in many ways and develop connections with my teachers and peers. Being a 3-sport athlete and member of Principal Student Advisory Committee, we get to use our voices to create school values, contribute our ideas towards school culture, and voice our opinions and guide others to a safe environment at Westview. I also get the opportunity to be a student leader in my pathway. Being in the human performance and sports medicine pathway allows me to learn and cooperate with others to achieve a common goal, much like a group of surgeons performing surgery. Lastly, the relationship between me and my peers allows me to be a leader because together we make Westview a better and safer place to be in.
So we want to say thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. We are Westview proud, and we appreciate our students who showed up this evening and for the staff who also were here. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you all for being here. We're not going to let you get away that easily. I'm sure there's a lot of questions. Colleagues?
Yeah, so I'll let them answer the questions.
Yeah. Dr. Holman.
Come on up.
Thank you all so much for being here this evening. I appreciated hearing the presentation about Westview High School. Can you share with us what is the process of becoming a student ambassador and how long is the student in that role for?
The students had to fill out an application expressing their interest in it and why they would want to be an ambassador. They had to share in what ways they're involved in the school already and what they would do as an ambassador, some different events or initiatives they would want to implement. This next year, we're also adding, now the students have been there for a year, a teacher recommendation aspect to that. So that'll go out If they're applying, they'll have to submit a form to their teachers to fill out for them, and they are in that role for 1 year.
So they can they reapply for additional years, or?
Yes, yes, they can be, well, I guess at this point, for 3 years.
Thank you for sharing.
Ms. Cassidy?
Sure, if you want to go around the table. That works. First of all, thank you all for being here. I'm sitting here listening to your presentation, and I'm thinking, are they really a brand new school? No, really, you guys you're killing it. You're rocking. So congratulations on everything that you're doing over there at Westview. It's amazing. I am interested in hearing a little bit more about the Pathway Therapeutic Services, if one of you could elaborate a little bit about what that all entails. I think I know, but just want to make sure.
Yeah, so the therapeutic services is part of our health sciences pathways. And so for biomechanics therapeutic services, as well as sports medicine, all sophomores take the same class. It's Foundations of Health as well as medical terminology, and then it's that junior year where they start branching off into their specific pathways. So therapeutical services is going to teach students how to become physical therapy. It could be recreational therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, that whole array of therapy that you might find at a hospital, school setting, could be a nursing home. So it's just a wide variety, and so the purpose then is to get them exposed to all of those different options and hopefully prepare them for a career in one of those.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah.
And I will mention your run coming up in 2 weeks. I will be registered. And anyone else, I know it's open for just a short time this evening, so get registered. My daughter's going to do it with me because Square Donuts is going to be there. So a little incentive to get out and run and then have a donut. So looking forward to the event.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Full?
Thank you. I love to hear about the student involvement at Westview. And at all of our OPS schools, because it's such an important part of the student's experience when they go to school. And so I'm not sure if you'll know the answer to this, but I would appreciate it if somebody could get me some data or something. So I was wondering, are honors and AP classes representative of the student population? So like when we talk about gender or income level, race, ethnicity, is it representative of the student population?
Yeah, I'm the AP and dual enrollment coordinator as well. So I would say that this year was a hard time to kind of gauge that data as far as the income, because with the free lunch, not every student filled out the educational benefits form. So I don't have much on that. I haven't broken it down. I can. I do think just walking into the classes, I do see a really nice split of demographics. I can get the exact data for you if you would like, and they're pretty. Our AP Human Geography, I can tell you, has 36 students, so it is a large class, and then 21 in our AP US History. They're all freshmen, and I just think one thing that is a positive is that every single student is registered to take the exam. I was an AP coordinator for the previous 3 years as well, and I had never had that even from one single class. So I think that does go to show like they're really pushing themselves and challenging themselves there. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Smith?
I just wanted to know what has been the most popular pathway so far, and which ones do we think we need to build out a little bit more?
Yes, so the health sciences pathways are by far the most popular, specifically the therapeutical services, because students that typically want to go into nursing or really any other medical profession that isn't biomechanics, sports medicine, or even those therapies related, they find themselves a little bit more inclined to be in that niche because they're going to be more exposed to hospital settings. So therapeutical services, probably followed by sports medicine, would be their two most popular. The ones that we need to work on growing would be our clean energy pathway, as well as our environmental studies. Right now, those are definitely have our smallest numbers, but I also think that they're ones that once we have some more students growing within those pathways, they're going to help deliver more like a lot of our marketing and say like, this is a great pathway. We get to do all these really fun hands-on activities. So I think it's just one of those where right away, not all students quite grasp what does it mean to be in clean energy. But yeah, I think that's one where we definitely have growth to improve and get more students involved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Thielen?
Yeah, first, I heard about an arboretum, and I realized it probably has something to do with trees, but I really don't know what that is. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah. We're really excited about this. So we have about 4.5 acres right next, or it's on our campus, but it's like right next to our parking lot that it looks like, according to old plans, it used to be a house that had like a shelter belt that had surrounded it. And this shelter belt actually has a very wide diversity of trees, a lot of them native. And so we were thinking like this would be a great opportunity to tie into our environmental studies pathways and build this outdoor classroom space. And so that's exactly what we're doing. We're working with the Nebraska Arboretum, who is one of our partners, to build this space and to certify it, remove a few, things that might have died over the years and just kind of beautify it a little bit more, provide signage and get our students involved in the planting as well as the tree identification and just the information. And then we're also going to be, we're working with Omaha Public Schools facilities right now to make sure it's ADA accessible, to make sure all of our students have access to this great site. So we're really excited about it.
That's fantastic. Thank you. I also wanted to ask, which of the pathways at this point feel pretty built out to the end, or are you still working on some of that curriculum building as you go for the senior year, I assume, but also maybe junior year? Is that kind of done at this point?
Yeah, so some of the already established pathways, such as business, which are in some of the other schools, those seem to already be set out in stone throughout the senior year. However, some of them are currently being built as we build our grades. So I mentioned in our speech that some of the pathways that are unique to Westview, such as therapeutical services, biomechanics, and then civil engineering, those right now are being built this summer for our upcoming junior year with the curriculum and instruction department, as well as inviting some of our teachers in to have a voice within that curriculum writing process.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Thank you. That's
Yep.
all I have.
Thank you. Mrs. Erdenberger?
Thank you, President Head. One of the things that I always find fun is the names that you gave to your freshman academies. So if somebody could share with us how many freshman academies you had and what their names were.
We have three academy teams. Right now, their names are Passion, Power, and Persistence. But we wanted to, again, value the student voice. So they actually right now are renaming the teams so that way we can say the first freshman class of Westview picked the names. So students are submitting names via a Microsoft form through their English classes, and then we're going to see if we can find some recurring ones and then have it be a vote. So renaming, but right now we have Passion, Power, and Persistence.
Thank you. Ms. Juarez?
Yes, so I just wanted to ask a quick question looking at the freshman academy. The education I see was blank. Does that mean you're still developing it, or what's going on in that particular area? On your slide, yes.
Oh, yes, that's just education as a whole. So we have kind of themes or umbrellas, if you will. Education is just as a whole. There's not specific.
Not something for teachers per se.
Right. So any aspect of education. So the way that we envision it is that at the senior level, when we have that internship option or maybe getting more into the buildings, they would kind of pick their focus area. So whether it was administration or counseling or school psychologists, they would get to pick and hone in on that.
Okay, because of course we're real supportive of that right now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. I have a couple of questions for the students, and I apologize. I was trying to take notes here, and I quickly ran out of space on my paper, so if I ask you to restate anything, I apologize for that. So, Ms. Walden, are you a freshman?
I'm a sophomore.
Sophomore.
Yes.
Awesome. And so you had mentioned you were involved in engineering, and then you had kind of found an interest in architecture and interior design,
did,
and then
yes.
being able to speak for your class as the only, you said you were the only female participant or the only female that got to speak?
So I am the only female that has gotten to speak at one of those meetings. I'm very proud of myself for doing that, and especially with Dr. Orange. She's been right by my side through this entire thing. So with that, it's a little bit stressful, but there are females in this pathway that are now getting closer to being where I am, and me and Dr. Orange are trying to motivate them to start pushing because it is a male-dominated field, especially with engineering. So we're trying to give more opportunities for females in this pathway to actually be able to go out and have a voice and actually feel comfortable with the pathway they chose. So that's kind of what me and Dr. Arns are doing lately.
Awesome. Well, great work. Keep it up. Thank you.
you.
And so then, I guess coming into high school, and this is your first year at Westview.
Correct.
But did you ever envision, these opportunities, these experiences for yourself looking ahead, planning to be a high school student? And
I actually did not. I was actually motivated by one of my best friends to go into engineering. It wasn't my first choice, but I am really grateful that I did because she has been by my side as well. It's been a great opportunity for me. I've definitely learned a lot about myself and about Westview. It's just, I absolutely love the school and I absolutely love what I'm doing. It's probably one of the best things that I've been through, but I was not envisioning myself going into this at all. I thought it's kind of a shock, but I'm really glad that I got the opportunity to, and look, I'm here where I am.
all right. And then looking forward, where do you see yourself in 3-5 years after graduation, 10 years down the road?
I see myself kind of in interior design architecture. I still have a little bit more learning to do. I recently just actually got to go to a UNL Women's in Science conference, so I got to learn a little bit more about what I would like to do when I'm older. I'm definitely going to college, getting a degree. I'm not sure in what yet, but it's kind of a along the road thing. I'm definitely starting to look into what I would like to do later in the years.
All right, thank you. We'll make sure to come back and update us because everybody here is rooting for you. And I don't know who's going to be at the table in 10 years, but whoever it is, come share your accomplishments with them.
Alrighty, thank you guys so
yeah,
much.
Thank you. Mr. Thielen, so you had mentioned you're a student ambassador.
Yep.
So what's the role of a student ambassador encompass? I know you had shared that you give tours of the school, you kind of show off, you're the public face of the school, if you will, but what else do you do as a ambassador?
Yeah, so we kind of look at what students at the school want to happen. So we take into account their opinions and we try and tell our administrators what we want, but mainly our goal is to help persuade parents and students who are middle schoolers to come to the school. So we, again, have showcases at UNO, or we have tours that's going on in the school. So we're just trying to persuade people to come here.
Awesome. And then I assume you're a sophomore as well?
Yep.
So I know one of the things you mentioned was that you were part of leading the incoming freshmen on the first day and kind of introducing them to their high school experience. So, being from a different high school last year, how was it for you, introducing students to an experience that you, quite frankly, weren't really familiar with yourself, being a new student to the school?
Well, I just tried to remember some of the aspects, like what I was afraid of as a freshman coming into school and what I learned my freshman year. So as much as, it's a new school and I'm not really used to the environment, I could, try to help them, manage their schoolwork, try to manage their friends, manage their teachers. So I just tried to tell them my experience and how they can handle it.
Awesome. And so I apologize if you shared this already, what pathway are you involved in?
I'm in business.
Business? Awesome. And where do you see yourself a couple years down the road?
So after high school, I want to get my real estate license, and then I'd like to go to college and major in business, and then eventually become a real estate agent.
Awesome. Well, the market's hot right now. Get involved. Thank you. And Mr. Creighton, so you had a long list of accomplishments here. 3-sport athlete, being involved in the human performance pathway. You said the student leadership
Yeah.
team. And so is that something that you're elected by your peers, or how do you get chosen to do that?
I was asked by Mr. Lee to join his council, and so I think I wrote a statement about why I wanted to be part of the council and how I felt about my school and how I wanted to change it so it could be a better environment for everybody.
Okay, awesome. And so and you said you're in the human performance pathway?
Yeah.
Okay, and so what do you envision yourself doing?
Oh, down the road?
Down the road.
I'm not too sure yet, but I think I'm thinking about being probably a physical therapist maybe, or something like along those lines, or something with sports medicine or sports in general. Mostly working with muscles and stuff like that. Coming from a personal experience, I had something happen to my knee, and so it makes me feel more connected going down those pathways. So,
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. And then early on, I heard somebody mention something about a school song. Is anybody brave enough to sing that?
Don't nobody know the words.
Fair enough.
If I can remember the cheer.
You can do the cheer.
Yes.
We have not learned the school song yet, school-wide.
Still working on it.
Well, our vocal music teacher and his students put it together, and now that it's their opportunity to teach it to the rest of their peers through Wolverine Wrap-Up, which is our advisement time.
Awesome. Got it. So next time, then we'll be ready.
Next time I'll sing it for you.
Perfect.
We have a beat.
Appreciate you all being here. So, any other questions, colleagues? Seeing none, well, thank you all for being here. If you could please just come around, handshake, fist bump, high five, and we can congratulate you again. So thank you.
Go around, Landon. Nice job.
Okay, everybody look this way. Smile. 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank you. Nice job. Well done. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Matt?
Good evening, President Head, Vice President Smith, members of the board, and Dr. Logan. My name is Anthony Moss, and I have with me Deanna Moise. We are here with our colleagues who support math instruction. We are so happy to share with you tonight the revised Nebraska College and Career Ready Standards for Mathematics. The revised Nebraska Math Standards encompass a wide range of essential skills in the areas of number, algebra, data, and geometry. These content strands represented in the image are connected by the outer quadrants. Within the strands, we see the math processes in the circle. The math processes reflect the skills necessary for math coursework in all grades. The math standards and processes describe the expectations for college, career, and civic readiness. Being able to solve real-world problems is at the center of the 2022 content standards represented by the image in the image of the world. The progression of skills within each strand are research and evidence-based and designed to prepare OPS students to meet the attributes of the portrait of a graduate. The full standards document is attached for your review. The state requires the math standards to be revised every 7 years. The revision process is led by the Nebraska Department of Education. Marnie Dreesen, elementary teaching and learning consultant, was part of the writing team for the revised standards. In addition, math experts and community members reviewed and provided guidance on the revision. The Nebraska State Board of Education adopted these standards in September 2022. The graphic on the slide shows a brief description for each of the Nebraska mathematical processes. The purpose of these standards is to help students develop problem solving, reasoning, representations, connections, and communication. These processes were present in the 2015 standards with the addition of reasoning in the 2022 standards. Reasoning requires students to think about their own solutions and the solutions of others.
Thank you, Anthony. The 2022 revisions to Nebraska's college and career-ready standards for mathematics require key shifts that are essential to strong mathematics instruction. The first shift is focus. Focusing on fewer math concepts allows for deeper understanding for us to spend time on the major work of each grade. The second shift is coherence. Mathematics is a body of knowledge that is made up of connected concepts and topics. The revised standards connect within and across the grade levels. The third shift is rigor. Rigor is the academic challenge the content provides in 3 areas. The first area, conceptual understanding, is knowing math concepts and relationships, essentially why math works. The second area is procedural skills and fluency, knowing how to do the math, including having efficient and accurate recall of facts. The last area is application, or knowing what math to use in situations to achieve desired results. Knowing the why, the how, and the what of grade level mathematics is the rigor that our standards are calling for. When all 3 shifts, focus, coherence, and rigor are in place, students are truly working to develop the portrait of a graduate attributes. In the spring of 2022, we adopted high-quality instructional mathematics and resources based on drafts of the revised math standards. This year, much of our professional learning has been designed for implementing these resources. At the elementary level, teachers have been providing feedback through monthly meetings and surveys. We will use this feedback to support further understanding and implementation of our resources. At a February Curriculum Day session, secondary attendees focused on what do teachers need to know and be able to do as a result of these revisions to the standards. Deepening teacher knowledge and understanding of the updated standards will be integrated throughout our upcoming professional learning. Upon approval, curriculum guidance documents will be updated with the revised standards and provided to teachers prior to the start of the 2023-24 school year. At the next Board of Education meeting on May 1st, we will request the approval to adopt the 2022 Nebraska Kindergarten through 12th grade college and career ready standards for mathematics. Thank you.
Thank you. And just to clarify before we open it up to questions, we're an information item tonight. You're coming back. Is it the next board meeting for final approval?
Correct.
Perfect. Thank you. Any questions, colleagues? Mr. Thielen?
So when you were describing focus, it sounds like we're leaving something out. But can you do? We're kind of putting something else aside so we can focus on certain math concepts. I imagine you can explain that a little bit for us and make us feel.
Yeah. So and focusing on the major work, we're moving from students being computers of mathematics to being consumers of mathematics. And so really just honing in on what we call the need to know standards. So we still have the breadth of information that we will always have in mathematics. This is really just allowing us to have more depth in that focus.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Ms. Zerdenberger?
You might not know the answer to this question, but I think that you said that reasoning was added to the list. That sort of flabbergasts me. How was reasoning not on the list, or what is it representing now that was going unsaid before?
Reasoning is just an emphasis on the mathematic reasoning to communicate. So it's being able to reason and to a point where I can communicate my own understanding of mathematics, as well as us having a conversation about our own reasoning, so that we have that greater depth of understanding, that we can communicate and represent. Like, it's all of those things tied into it. So it's reasoning is like an underlying piece that, even though they're all still there, the reasoning kind of is this undertow.
Sort of like when my teacher would explain something, but I could figure it out differently on my own. So it's kind of adding that alternative pathway for coming
Yes.
to the same answer.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad it's been added.
Perfect. Ms. Full?
Thank you. So you said that you get feedback from the teachers about the new standards that you're proposing, and I was just wondering, what's the most common piece of constructive feedback that you get from the teachers?
I'm going to let Anthony speak to that, because the Envisionaries, or those monthly meetings, are held through our elementary team.
Yeah, so we have monthly meetings with teacher leaders around all the elementary schools. So during the process, we're just getting feedback on how they feel the standards are being addressed in our newly adopted curriculum that we have. They've given us feedback about things that we may need to supplement with maybe an extra lesson or something like that. So we're getting that feedback to really help drive our summer curriculum writing so that we can better implement Envision next school year.
Thank you.
Ms. Juarez?
Thank you. I just had a question about what do you do for the students who struggle in math in the classes? I wondered what the support system was like for those students.
So we always say that our number one resource is the classroom teacher. And so it is nice also to have paper as an opportunity for students to have that 24/7 access to answer questions. The paper opportunities through that intervention option have some great detail in working with either the just asking the questions, and then there's visuals that they can do too. They can upload assignments to paper. We also have Success Maker that is built in with our Envisions curriculum that helps to adapt to where a student is and help them with their work that may be off grade level.
So is Success, what did you call it again?
Success Maker.
Is that like a program, a computer program of some type?
Yes, it was part of the adopted resources and materials that came with our K-8 math resources.
Thank you. And then first, do we have any other questions? All right. And so I know you had mentioned working with teachers, throughout the curriculum creation process. So who else from the community do you work with? Do you work with students, family? I'd imagine it's a pretty in-depth process. Can you just speak to it a little bit more?
When the state develops their curriculum or updates their standards, they bring in community and teachers from across the state that are as representative of our population as possible. So they are the ones that provide that greatest input into the standards revisions.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, I don't see any more questions, so thank you for the presentation. We look forward to talking with you again in a couple weeks.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Moving on to item J1C, the Policy Committee update with Mr. Thielen.
Thank you, Mr. Head. Policy Committee met on April 14th. In attendance were myself, Ms. Erdenberger, Mr. Head, and Ms. Juarez. We talked to staff about some proposed changes for our academic eligibility for sports. It'll be an ongoing discussion that'll, I'm sure that we'll be having for a while before we come to any firm conclusions, but that was the only item on our agenda for that meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thielen. Do we have any discussion? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to item J1D, the Budget and Audit Committee update with Ms. Juarez.
Hi, thank you very much. So our committee met on April 10th, and of course my committee report is very exciting. I have an update on internal controls. Management updated the committee on steps being taken to address the 2 audit findings noted in last year's audit report. And for our financial update, management provided an update on year-to-date financial results and a reforecast on expected financial results. Revenue received year-to-date is slightly above budget and is expected to be at or slightly above budget at year-end. We have significant savings in salaries and benefits, and purchase services has been realized and is expected to continue. This is primarily due to staffing vacancies and fewer routes run by STA, the bus people. Overall projected budget favorability will allow for a general fund reserve balance at or near the 20% maximum per board policy. Now for our 2023-24 budget update. Management provided an update on budget development activities so far. Priority-based process continues to be used with central office budgets and is being expanded to all formula allocations to schools. These would include items such as building utilities and extracurricular expenses such as athletic equipment and musical instruments. A preliminary review estimate was provided that could change significantly based on pending school finance legislation. Legislative changes could include additional state funding and caps on total revenue. The preliminary district-wide general fund expense budget will be provided at the June Budget and Audit Committee meeting. Preliminary revenue estimate will also be updated based on any school funding legislation passed. For the ESSER update, management updated the committee on ESSER grant fund activity and proposed budget amendments to the ESSER 3 grant. All ESSER 2 funds were expended by September 2023, and proposed budget will allow all ESSER 3 funds to be expended by September 2024. Board member small group meetings will be held this week and next week to discuss the proposed budget amendment for the ESSER 3 grant in more detail. Okay, for our OSERS update, management provided an update on corrected 1099-R tax forms mailed out to retirees and refund recipients, and an unintended change to the calculation of interest earned on contributions by active plan members. Both issues were due to updates being performed on the system and reviews of the updates not detecting the unintended changes. All 1099-R recipients received corrected forms in early March. The correction is to the interest calculation is expected to be finalized and fully implemented early this week. And finally, on the Eid-Bailey Audit Services extension, management recommended a 3-year extension of the current contract for audit services with Eid-Bailey, which was formerly Syme Johnson. Last 3-year extension under the current agreement. A request for proposals for audit services will be issued at the end of the extension. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any discussion, colleagues? All right, seeing none, we will be moving on. We've reorganized the agenda a little bit. Next item will be item J1E, the report of the Legislative Committee with Ms. Full.
Thank you. I don't have much to report this week. Not much movement on the bills that we're looking at, other than a few. But we had our NASB, or the Nebraska Association of School Boards, Legislative Lobby Day this morning and this afternoon. And that was a great experience. Lots of school board members from all over the state came and got updates about what's happening at the legislature. And then we were able to talk to our senators who represent our districts, and it was great. And I appreciate Mr. Koash for putting on that wonderful event. That's all.
Thank you. Do we have any discussion? All right, seeing none, we'll be moving on to action items. The first action item is item J2A, approval of, to award proposal number P014-22 and proposal P024-22 to Savas McGraw-Hill, Sengage Social Studies School Services, and Bedford Freeman and Worth for social studies textbooks and resources, and the attached contracts and data protection agreements to be used in the district's K-12 social studies textbook purchase for 2022-2023 through 2029-2030 school years. We have Miss Lindsay Beanie and Carolyn Roby speaking.
Good evening, President Head, Vice President Smith, Superintendent Dr. Logan, and members of the board. My name is Lindsay Beanie, Secondary Social Studies Teaching and Learning Consultant.
And I am Carolyn Roby, Elementary Teaching and Learning Consultant, here with my colleagues Tiffany LaFrance, Maria Roden, and Angela Bruno. I didn't forget your name, Maria. All right, so today we are excited to bring to you our recommendation for the kindergarten through 12th grade. Move that. So, thank you. Kindergarten through 12th grade social studies high quality instructional materials adoption. The adoption of these instructional materials will further enhance best instructional practices for teaching and learning social studies and aligns to the Omaha Public Schools Strategic Plan of Action Priority 1 Academics. Curriculum Instruction Support presented our recommendation of instructional materials to the American Civics Committee on March 20th. And with the committee's support of this recommendation, we are bringing this back to the full board tonight, along with a negotiated agreement from selected vendors for your approval.
Curriculum and Instruction Support recommends the adoption of the social studies instructional materials shown on the screen and listed with full titles on the summary of recommendations document provided to you. Our current elementary resources for social studies were adopted in 2004, and middle school and high school resources were adopted in 2014. Since that time, there have been shifts in social studies teaching practices, including a stronger focus on inquiry and the student experience. Given the essential role of high-quality instructional materials as a resource for supporting instruction, the selection of our instructional materials was not taken lightly. We engaged stakeholders throughout the process. Requests for proposals were sent out by our district in spring of 2022. The initial reviews by Curriculum and Instruction Support included teaching and learning consultants from special education, English learner and migrant education, dual language, and gifted and talented education. After the initial reviews, we elicited input from several groups who looked at the materials with varied lenses. Teachers from each school reviewed publisher presentations and completed a quality materials rubric. From this review, we narrowed the list of products down to 2 for each grade level and course. Several stakeholder review sessions were held that included community partners, the District Citizens Advisory Committee, the English Learner Parent Involvement Program. All shared supportive feedback. A vital step of our process was ensuring that the instructional materials reflect the community and the students we serve. A group of individuals from various organizations in the community came together for this important work. This included, but was not limited to, members from the Urban League of Nebraska, Empowerment Network, National Council of Jewish Women, and Omaha Public Schools bilingual liaisons. The most exciting and informative step in the process was having our teachers and students use the instructional materials in their classrooms for 8 to 14 weeks. Teachers and students from across the district, including dual language teachers, participated in the field testing of products. Teachers made the curriculum come to life with student-centered experiences and real-world problem solving.
Every student deserves the opportunity to learn from high-quality, standards-aligned instructional materials to prepare for success in college, career, and life, as outlined in our portrait of a graduate. The feedback for the recommended materials provided by our teachers, a small sample which you see here on the screen, is a testament to the energy and excitement our teachers and students have for meaningful social studies experiences. Students who participated in the field testing were given the opportunity to offer feedback as well. Their responses, shown here, reflect the connections they were able to make and experiences the recommended instructional materials provide. An elementary student recognized that they were learning about culture and how they were similar and different as others in their class. A secondary student liked how the book went into detail in the interactive online book. At the elementary level, teachers shared a preference for impact as it best meets the needs of our students in Omaha Public Schools. The instructional materials are available in Spanish for our dual language classrooms and include supports for our English learners. Each chapter begins with students engaging and investigating topics aligned to our state standards. Then students take actions as global and civic contributors to demonstrate their understanding. This preference for impact from teachers, along with our data analysis from each group, led us to recommend Impact McGraw-Hill for our kindergarten through 5th grade classrooms. The alignment of instructional materials from kindergarten through 5th grade allows for smooth transitions from one grade level to the next. Effective teaching practices such as student conversations, connections to literature, and real-life opportunities are at the heart of each lesson. The cost for elementary high-quality instructional materials is approximately $3.1 million.
Teachers in grades 6 through 8 shared a preference for Savvis My World Interactive to best engage students with our standards and meet the needs of all learners. The alignment of instructional materials in our 6th through 8th grade social studies courses will allow for smooth transitions from one grade level to the next. For the graduation required courses and their honors components, all at the high school level, we are recommending instructional materials from McGraw-Hill and Savvis. These materials engage students with our standards through embedded inquiry, primary sources and narratives that reflect multiple perspectives, and meaningful connections to the world in which they live. Our social studies elective courses are open to any student at the high school level and will be enhanced with instructional materials we are recommending from Savvis, McGraw-Hill, Cengage, Bedford Freeman and Worth, and Social Studies School Service. These materials provide interactive data, real-world applications, and support for all learners. Through differentiated instructional practices, interactive technology tools, language supports, the recommended instructional materials focus on the student experience, allowing all students to engage as critical thinkers and see themselves as civic and global contributors in our interconnected and diverse world. At the high schools, or all high schools at the Omaha Public Schools provide opportunities for students to take advanced placement courses in social studies. Courses meet graduation requirements and elective requirements and are approved by the College Board. For these courses, we are recommending instructional materials from Bedford Freeman and Worth and Cengage. These resources align to the course content outlined by College Board and prepare students for success on AP exams. The approximate cost for middle school and high school high-quality instructional materials is approximately $5.5 million. The recommended instructional materials include a consumable textbook subscription for all students K through 5, as well as a hard copy research companion, current articles, and digital subscriptions to all the materials. New consumables are provided for students each year of adoption. Also, we are currently reviewing materials for a 4th grade supplemental resource on Nebraska history. Students in middle school and high school courses will have access to a hardcover textbook, as well as an online textbook and student resources on digital platforms. Consumable materials are included for our middle school courses. These instructional resources integrate teacher-led instruction with the use of digital tools and technology to help students learn and make sense of the social studies content and skills. Field test teachers shared their excitement about the supports provided, which include a variety of options such as checks for understanding, student-centered learning, and opportunities for student discourse and assessments. A blended learning model can be achieved through the one-to-one technology initiative, as materials are compatible with student devices and the Omaha Public Schools digital platforms. The digital resources allow teachers to meet the needs of all students, provide practice, and extend students' learning.
Excuse me. The adoption of these instructional materials will further enhance social studies in Omaha Public Schools and continue to provide opportunity for students to learn about and engage in our community and our world as they develop the attributes of the portrait of a graduate. Curriculum and instruction support seeks approval of the high-quality instructional materials recommendation and the negotiated agreements from selected vendors. Thank you.
Thank you. And before we open it up to discussion, let's go ahead and get a motion on the table. So colleagues, bear with me because this one is a little bit of a mouthful. So does anyone make a motion to award proposal number P014-22 and proposal B024-22 to Savas, McGraw-Hill, Cengage Social Studies School Services, and Bedford, Freeman, and Worth for social studies textbooks and resources and the attached contracts and data protection agreements to be used in the district's K-12 social studies textbook purchase for the 2023, 2024 through 2029, 2030 school years for a price of $8,635,960.65. We have a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Dr. Holman. We have a second. Second by Ms. Full. All right, now open it up to discussion. Any questions? Ms. Juarez.
Okay, so I was curious, when you go out to the community to get feedback, could you tell me a little bit more how you go about doing that? I mean, is there you go to a meeting of some type and let people review the textbooks right there and then, or you provide it in advance? Could you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yes, so when we did our community reviews throughout the fall, we worked at district communications to advertise the dates, and most of the community reviews were held here at the TAC building. We did have one with the Empowerment Network at Omaha North, but all the materials are available for anybody in the community to come and look at, to read through, interact with the materials, and then they complete a feedback rubric or feedback form that provides us with feedback as to what areas they feel strongly about and any areas they feel we need to enhance.
Okay, because I was just going to mention, because I wasn't sure if you guys were aware that in South Omaha, they have a group called South Omaha Neighborhood Alliance. And actually, Kimera Snipes, who used to be on the school board, she is in charge of that group. And I would like to suggest in the future, not only for this particular area of focus, but in the future for other groups that might come before us, to keep them in mind and contact her to see if she could help accommodate another area of community review. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Erdberger?
I'm going to kind of build off of what Ms. Juarez just said, and that is, although it's probably not a question for you, but you said that our communications team reached out to specific groups to let them know or to set up meetings.
No, so that communications team didn't communicate that. When we set the community reviews on the calendar, they help us to get the information out through our social media platforms and district communications postings, just so that all community members are aware of when that's available.
Okay, so when you said, for example, that you met with Urban Lake,
Mm-hmm.
there was not a specific invitation to Urban Lake, or there was?
There is. So that was part of our diversity review that was held back in May, which is part of the initial review process. And that time, there are diverse groups throughout the community that are invited to bring guests in to look at the materials.
I guess that's my question is, to the extent that there are specific groups identified and invited, who does that? And was, maybe building on Ms. Juarez's question, was there a group in South Omaha, for example, identified?
I believe that yes. I don't have the full list directly in front of me right now, but there is a number of community partners that are, or member community groups that are invited in, but we're always looking to add additional groups, so that feedback is very valuable to make sure that for future purposes, we make sure we have a wide representation.
And who is it that does that? Is that you or out of communications?
Yep, the curriculum instruction team.
Determines what groups to go talk to. While I loved seeing the comments by the students here, I think we can assume that there were some less positive comments. There just must be. There's always that kid, if nothing else, that wants to say something. Is there a formal feedback rubric that the kids, that the students put together, and who reviews that and tallies up the results of that rubric?
So for secondary, they actually sent out to their students, but for elementary, our TLCs felt it was more appropriate for us to go into the rooms as they were conducting social studies, and we asked students then and there their feedback on there. And there really wasn't anything negative. You know, some kids just said, you know, that it's just social studies. That's about the only negative thing we got. We did get more positive.
As a former social studies teacher, I know that it's the most interesting
Yeah.
subject. And that makes perfect sense for elementary, so that was going to be my next question. But do the secondaries fill something out, and does somebody tally
Yes.
that rubric?
So we work with the research department to put together student survey questions. The students are provided access to it through a QR code or a link provided by their teacher that's field testing. And they're provided an opportunity at the end of each field test window to provide feedback on that.
Oh, that's
and
great.
You are correct, at the secondary level, there are always some fun comments, but overall, the feedback was very positive. It was really interesting to hear how many students liked having a physical textbook back in their hands after so much COVID time.
Well, which is my last question. I am old school enough that I would be perfectly happy with only a textbook, I suspect. But we're spending $6 million, $8 million, something, on textbooks, which I strongly support. But how is that? How are the textbooks? If you could give me just a brief example of how a teacher, uses textbooks plus the digital subscriptions that you talked about.
So for the elementary, they have a research companion, which is their hardcover that gives them the meat and potatoes of social studies, where they dig deeper into the content and understandings. And then they have this inquiry journal that they use, and that sets them up for the inquiry process, where they do projects and are able to cite evidence. And then they have the Explorer magazine that gives them just different text based off different genres, and digs a little deeper, and it ties back into that essential question that is asked in the inquiry journal. So it all comes together. So they have three. The companion is hardcover, the other two are consumables.
Very similar for secondary. The hard copy textbook provides a variety of primary sources and content, as well as opportunities for students to use inquiry both within the textbook and with the online resources as well. The online resources also offer a lot of interactives, and so we'll see oftentimes students will have both their iPad out with the interactive in front of them and their textbook open as they're doing kind of that multi-lens approach to how they're learning and discussing social studies.
That's great. Thank you very much. So you're telling me that my 5-year-old twin grandsons going into kindergarten will be doing some research?
Yes, absolutely, and they'll love it.
Looking forward to it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Mr. Smith?
I just kind of wanted to mention that through the Empowerment Network, there's over 500 organizations that we work with on a consistent basis at the second Saturday of every single month. And so that's why we invited you guys there. And so Sona's always at the table, but also at that same meeting, we had 700 high school students and their parents there. So we did a really good reach in making sure everybody got a chance to look at the materials.
Thank you. Ms. Cassidy?
Thank you, President Head. I just wanted to, I don't really have a question per se. I just wanted to thank you, ladies, and your those in your department that have worked so diligently. I think that looking at all of that, the process, I think it doesn't go unnoticed, the amount of work and the undertaking to adopt an entire curriculum. So I just want to thank you for all of the hard work, from the field testing to having all the community meetings. And also thank you for keeping in that Nebraska piece with adding the supplement. That's such a fun unit for fourth graders. I remember that myself. I guess I do have one question though. If you'll remind us, when is the last time we adopted curriculum in this area? Like, how often is this done? Is it?
So 2024.
I know you said it at one point, but just to remind us all how
Yeah,
often this takes place.
2004 for the elementary.
Okay.
2014 for secondary.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you for your hard work. It's a lot. Definitely. Thank you so much.
All right. Any other questions, colleagues? Well, thank you again for your for all the hard work that you've put in here, both of you as your team as well. And I know you presented this to the American Civics Committee. What was that, a month ago now? It seems like. So no, thank you for bringing that before that committee and the board. I look forward to seeing what this looks like when we can get it into the hands of our students next year. So, thank you.
Thank you.
With that, seeing no other discussion, Mr. Ray, please call the roll.
Smith.
Aye.
Thielen.
Aye.
Cassidy.
Aye.
Erdenberger.
Aye.
Full.
Aye.
Head.
Aye.
Holman.
Aye.
Juarez.
Aye.
8 aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. And the last action item that we have is item J2B, the approval of resolution 23-003, appointing Dr. Annie McFarland to serve as interim secretary for the Board of Education. I know we have all had the opportunity to get to know and work with Dr. McFarland over the past few years, at least 2 years that I've been on the board, and we've had opportunities for everyone if they were interested or had questions to meet one-on-one with Dr. McFarland over the last couple of weeks. So do we have any discussion? If not, we can go ahead and have a motion to approve the resolution.
So moved.
All right, motion by Dr. Holman,
Second.
second by Ms. Cassidy. Any further discussion? All right, seeing none, Mr. Ray, please call the roll.
Thielen.
Aye.
Cassidy.
Aye.
Erdenberger. Full.
Aye.
Head.
Aye.
Holman.
Aye.
Juarez.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
8 aye.
Motion carries. Dr. McFarland, congratulations, and we look forward to working with you in this new capacity. All right, we have one receipt of report tonight. It's item K1, the CBOC update for Phase 2 bond programs, March 2023. Moving on to closed session, Vice President Smith.
I move that the Board of Education go into closed session for the protection of the public interest and for the prevention of needless injury to the reputation of individuals to discuss with the superintendent, secretary to the board, Shane Ryan, and legal counsel, legal advice.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Smith. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Thielen. Any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Ray, please call the roll.
Cassidy.
Aye.
Erdenberger. Full.
Aye.
Head.
Aye.
Holman.
Aye.
Juarez.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Thielen.
Aye.
8 aye.
All right, motion carries. Let me remind the board that the purpose for closed session is for the protection of the public interest and for the prevention of needless injury to the reputation of individuals to discuss with the superintendent, board secretary, Shane Ryan, and legal counsel, legal advice. Let the record reflect that the board went into closed session at 7:45 p.m. Let the record reflect the board came out of closed session at 8:24 p.m. Let the record reflect that the board meeting adjourned at 8:24 p.m.